All right, Mark, I'm going to give you a call here. Oh, Hale's in here. All right. Mark's not. Oh, there you are. Mark, hey.
Hey, what's going on?
Not much, my friend. Thanks for participating in the show. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah. I will say this is the the oddest venue. So I've never had somebody come on in their car before, but I'm sure it's a good spot for you.
It's quiet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unless you want a little 3-year-old yelling at you. So.
Nice. Well, yeah, like I said, thanks again for coming on it. I just wanted to, chat about what you guys do. I went through your website, and I was kind of. It looks like there's a handful of you that kind of go around and you do like some investigations, and you offer up like investigating people's personal homes and that kind of stuff.
That's correct.
Yep. So, what do you, if somebody asked you to come into their house? Is it just kind of like, oh, we've had a haunting, I want like proof of what's going on? Is it that kind of thing, or how does that usually go?
So pretty much, if you needed, say, your residence or business investigated, normally you would go on our website, fill out request an investigation. We'll look at that, and then my case manager will actually call you and do a little phone interview. From there, which we'll do is she'll relay it to our team. Then from there, we'll start pretty much researching the property, if there's any deaths in the location, any accidents, et cetera. Anything to do with the land. It could be Native American, stuff like that. And from there, we'll set up a time to meet. From there, we'll do a little tour, and then we'll set up and we'll start investigating. Typically, they last 2 hours to 5 to 6 hours. From there, we'll just investigate, and whatever we catch, we'll bring it back. We'll review all the evidence. So that's probably about, hours and hours of evidence. Whatever we get, we'll come back and I'll pretty much show you what we got.
Yeah.
From there, it's up to you if you want to have the house cleansed, if you need some guidance on what to do. We also do that also.
Yeah, so you guys offer like a cleansing service. So it seems like there's a lot of people on staff. Is it more of like, do you have like people that are like, hey, we're going to help the residential people over here. Hey, we're going to like go on kind of like I think I saw you guys went to Fort Knox. You guys do that kind of stuff. Is it like sectioned off, or is it just like a big team that just be like, hey, I'll do this today kind of deal? Or is there more like people that handle specifics?
Pretty much from us, the more residential cases depend on how severe it is. If it's deals with children, we try and get out there as soon as possible to help that family out.
Yeah.
From there, for the commercial side, which is like your Fort Knox, all the big haunted areas, that takes some planning. My case manager will email the location, see if they're interested in even us coming out to investigate. From there, we'll set up a few times and dates that we can get out there. From there, we'll pretty much when we go there, we'll have like a little tour of the location. But typically these locations now, it's not like ghost hunters where they call in the ghost hunters to come investigate. It's more, now it's on the end of you have to pay to investigate these locations, which is fine. It's the places that we have gone never disappoint. So from that side, we have a few commercial cases coming up soon. One of them we are actually staying at the location, which is the Oliver House. We are staying at the Conjuring House coming up. So it's typically the commercial side is some planning. It's not like,
Yeah.
all right, we're going to go investigate this place tonight.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to set up a Conjuring House visit. I was just on the site like last a couple weeks ago, trying to find some times for. Well, I'm not going to really investigate. I'm just kind of go for like to have fun and check that stuff out because I like to. I don't want to bog my experience down with the investigating stuff because like I like it, but also I just want to be in it. You know what I mean? So, but
Yep.
that's really cool. So I just want to like go back to maybe I like to hear about that stuff, but I'm kind of pretty interested in the residentials that you guys do. So when somebody calls you and says, "I got this haunting," my kids are like screaming, uh, do they? First of all, is there a charge for that? Which whatever, rightfully, I don't know. However you conduct business, I don't care. Is there a charge for that? And is it like is it weird how personal it is? Because I think when you go on like a normal ghost hunt, it's just like, oh, we got this stuff. But when you're seeing the actual effect that it has on a family, like I can think that like you're there, you're in their home, you're just like, man, we got to figure out what's going on for these people. Like, how does that kind of either factor into an investigation, or how's that like, how do you choose the people that can kind of handle that?
Well, for the first part, we do not charge at
Mm-hmm.
all for our services. Um, as far as our investigators go, we all have jobs and family life. So everyone that joins my team, and I would say probably every paranormal team besides the ghost hunters, stuff like that, are all volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
So these are actual people on my team that are passionate about the paranormal, getting answers, but also want to help families in need.
Mm-hmm.
As far as us investigating residential cases, all we want to do is help that family understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
If they need it cleansed, we'll cleanse. But we just want to educate. As Grant Wilson told me way back when on a video chat, that they're not just ghosts and stuff like that. They were actual people at one time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people forget that they were human at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them just want to be heard, and that's why they end up trying to make themselves known to that person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but if that person is truly scared of that entity, or we will do everything in our power to help cleanse that and help the spirit move on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've had a handful of people on that some people have had kind of like scary encounters, and like they're like, oh, like, and it's like jarring to their whole family. But then I've had a medium researcher that has like ghosts that live in her house, and she's like, hey, can you guys calm it down, I've got to write tonight, like kind of deal, so that they're living alongside the spirit. So are you helping those people come to terms with what's going on, because it is a scary thing, so if you're just like, hey, we did this research, this is probably what this is, and like it kind of alleviates their issues, or is it always like, what is typically, do they usually like be like, all right, that's cool, thanks for the evidence, and then do they usually ask you to cleanse it to get rid of them, or does it help the family a little bit? Like, what's the typical thing that happens with that?
As far as cleansing goes, we had a medium on the team that did do that personally on her side, but she has left the team. But we haven't really done too many cleansings. It's pretty much just educating people. A lot of people can just live with the paranormal and go on about their daily lives, and it's the people that, it's mostly children that are affected the most, or less the adult or are just having a very, very hard time and they need answers. We had a few cases that a little child was being tormented and wasn't able to sleep. And by our investigation, we found out it was the grandmother coming trying to talk to them. So from us taking away that fear and giving them some hope, like, hey, your grandmother's still here, she loves you, and she's watching over the child, it gave them a lot of positive view on the paranormal and was able to help them cope with it.
So when you're I've had Carly, she's the Village Tarot Witch, she's a medium on the show before, and she says when she's doing tarot mediumship, she's not actually speaking with somebody. The cards are arranged a certain way, and she's able to decipher them, and it's just like a feeling you get, and then you're able to kind of just get a vibe of what's going on. But the more you do it and all that stuff, so she's like, I'm not actually talking to somebody. It's just prompts that I get, pushes. Do you have like a medium on your team, or do you just look for like the physical evidence? What's going on? Like which route do you usually push? Do you push them both?
I think back in the day it was mostly just the scientific side and getting evidence, but now it's more towards mediums and psychics, and we're both working together. We do have a few on the team that have that gift. We did have a someone on the team that was her, like, she was really good as a medium. Fortunately, she left our team, but I'm always like, I've been doing this since I was 16 years old, and I'm still fascinated by that gift side of being able to just look at a picture and come up with like all this information, which is very, very fascinating.
Yeah. Do you have any of that yourself, or is it more of you're just like, because me, I've never had an experience. I've gone to haunted places, and I always want it, and everybody's like, you want it too bad, you'll never get it, right? And I'm like, oh man, this sucks. But like, do you have some of that in you, or is it more of just like, this is cool, I wish kind of deal, and you're trying to foster it?
I did find out the first time I went to Fort Knox that I had some form of sensitive abilities. And the medium that was on my team was trying to help me pretty much practice and try and learn my ability. As far as actually, it's been a while since I actually had a real bad, emotional experience, but we were at SK, and my wife is actually on the team. Her team was upstairs all the way at the top floor. I was in the basement, and I didn't realize at the time they told whatever spirit was there to go downstairs and touch one of us, and that's when I felt a little hand come up and grab my hand, which I wasn't scared or nothing, but it made me very emotional because it felt like a child's hand, and also it made me think of my daughter, and it was just a big emotional thing, but that was my sense of ability coming on.
Yeah, I can see how if in a movie you're watching something and like, a child's hand from another realm like reaches up to make contact, like that's intense, dude. So I could see why that would be kind of jarring. So yeah, I had a guy on, Nathaniel, from the Sometimes It Rhymes podcast. He was on last month, and he had a whole bunch of he saw a whole bunch of spirits and all stuff, and I was like, oh, you should try to just work on that, try to hone that ability. Have you done any of that, or is it more just like, well, this happened, I got other shit to do, maybe get to it sometime? But have you worked on that? I know you said that medium was trying to help, but have you worked on that anymore?
Sorry, what was the question? Sorry.
Bit. So, have you worked on trying to hone that ability anymore? I know you said the medium was helping you, but or is life getting in the way, or is it kind of you think you're gonna push that way, or is it just I'm here, we'll see what happens?
As far as my ability, like you said, life gets in the way. I have a daughter, I work, I have a bunch of animals, but when I go on an investigation, I try and open myself up a little bit more to that realm. I was told to like censor my feet and be grounded, and then just put my hands on my lap and just shut my eyes and then just focus. It's been a while since I did that, so it's probably something I'm going to try and get back into.
Yeah. I've said this on this podcast 100 times, but I read the manual on how to remote view the government manual, and a lot of it was just saying how the human brain is basically a radio conductor, and like it has shielding in it for you, so because all this information is like floating around in the air, and it shields you from this, otherwise you're going to go crazy. But like they teach you how to like kind of just let a little bit of that information in. So I was like, I always thought of that. I'm like, man, that's very interesting. That like they have like a definite ways to be like, all right, you gotta like relax and like shut out all other things and just let the information come, and they just figure out how to like hone in on certain zone in different areas, stuff like that. But Ray says he's a fan of grounding as well. Ray, I know him in my personal life, and he never has shoes on, so that's kind of like a personal joke. So you personal stuff. The home investigations. I thought that's really cool because I never talked to anybody that's ever done something like that. And if you're going to all these other places, what is the Oliver House? I know the Conjuring House. What's the Oliver House?
It's actually forget where it is.
Yeah.
But it's just a house that I know kindred spirits have gone to it. Ghost hunters, ghost adventurers. It's just pretty much a house that has seen tragedy, just like any other haunted location. But we're gonna be able to go there and investigate. I believe we are staying overnight, so our cameras are gonna be rolling all night long. Typically, when we do the commercial side, we are always on either Facebook Live or Instagram. We just started doing the TikTok. I'm still new to TikTok.
Yeah.
I think I have like 5 videos on TikTok myself. So,
yeah, same.
But yeah, we have the Oliver House coming up. We have the Conjuring House coming up. USS Salem and Quincy. That's going to be another investigation that we have always had good experience there. We had growls there. We had a Ouija board spin on us.
Damn.
Trying to think where else we're going. We're going to a few places. I know we're trying to go to the New York area. I know our biggest one that we're trying to go to is Waverly Hills in Kentucky. I know that's on every paranormal team's bucket list.
I'm just writing them down, so I've got ideas too, because I like to just go and check them out. I do have a question in chat. It says, what about the land surrounding some of the houses? I know forests and such can be haunted. I know earlier you brought up when you were doing a residential, you guys do all the background checks and all that kind of stuff to see what the history of the land is.
Yeah, the land. There's a lot of factors into the land. It's could be Native American. They could have some influence on the land. It could be elementals, which are never really spirits, and they're not demonic. They're like it sounds like elemental, which is a spirit of the land, pretty much. From the water is a big, huge. Pretty much, water is just one big conductor. If you think of it, limestone. So we figure out everything. One of our investigators is a researcher, and I kid you not, when we went to an investigation, she had a binder full of information.
I mean, that's great. Have you ever run into like an elemental, like when you're doing an investigation? Or I mean, I know they're out there and all that, but have you ever run into that in your investigations?
We had an investigation our first time on the USS Salem, where one of our investigators thought she was being in contact with elemental. I'm not 100% sure.
Right. I mean,
it was.
How can you be?
Yeah. But as far as going forward, I have not physically seen or interacted with one. Mm-hmm. But
all right. So, I guess with another question that I had like in my little list of things, I was like, so you manage a giant team, and I'm sure like it ebbs and flows. People leave, people come in. So, how did that even start? Of you like, of you starting like a big team to be able to go and do this? Is it just like a group of friends that got together to do this, and it just grew, or how did this even start?
So I started when I was 16 years old, being a dumb kid going in the cemetery investigating after watching Ghost Hunters.
Oh yeah.
From there, I was off and on investigating just as pretty much for fun, and then I took a hiatus out of it, and I just started going back to it, getting off to it. But then it took a real turn when I started investigating for a team as a tech manager, which is dealing with all technology, hooking up the cameras. Mm-hmm. If anything went wrong with the technology, I dealt with it. And then I had a discussion with my wife about what if I had my own team.
Broke out on your own,
so,
yeah.
To the point where I started my own team. We had a lot of people come and go, either personal lives or they wanted to start their own teams. Pretty much, I started it in April of 2020, and then it just took off where we have our logo, we have the website, that's all trademarked, and we started doing Paracons, and I'm very, very grateful for people previously that was on the team and who are on the team now. Mm-hmm. They do a lot of work, and it's hard because they all have personal lives. They have families, work.
Of course, yeah.
And like I said before, they are very passionate about the paranormal, and that's why a lot of people are doing it. I know teams they have like 20 plus people. It depends on how much work you have. If you have a ton of cases, then yeah, you need a lot of team members, but it's always good to go by how big the location is. If it's Waverly Hills, you want the whole team there.
Yeah.
If it's a little small apartment, you don't want 20 people in the house to kind of kill any evidence that you get. So try and keep it down as much as possible. Like I would say maybe 3.
Yeah, get out of the way, kid. There's a ghost over here, you know. Yeah.
But I'm very grateful for my team and all the work they put in. We're not just a paranormal team where we are a paranormal team, but we are more of a family atmosphere.
Yeah.
Like we all joke around and have fun, and we have fun on investigations, and so it's not just, I know watching like Ghost Hunters, you get one side of the paranormal. You watch Ghost Adventures, you have Zach and all his crazy antics.
Which I'm a fan of. I enjoy that one. Although I feel like if you're looking at the new ghost shows, the new a lot of it has kind of diverted from the like scientific aspect of it to more of like the feelings and like, oh, it got cold over here and that kind of stuff, or so. And it's slowly kind of changed evidence in the paranormal like investigation, where you're like, okay, like a brick flies around, like, oh shit, that's crazy, like that's evidence. But now evidence is being treated as like, oh, I've got a negative feeling kind of deal. So how do you weigh? Of course, like physical evidence like is high up on the pole of like validity, but how do you weigh like the physical or like the not so physical things, when you're investigating? Is it more like, when people have these weird feelings, you just like write that down, like, and I'm still kind of talking about like the residentials that you're doing. Do you write that down as like, hey, this is possible evidence of this, kind of deal? Do you give much credence to that stuff?
Well, you always have to take into account physical evidence over scientific.
Yeah.
As far as the unexplained goes, just because it's unexplained, you try and either recreate it or try and debunk it. Is it the house creaking? Is it the pipe settling? Is there a window open? If you can't explain why this door is slamming open every night, then it's possible paranormal. It's not a ghost, but it's
something.
It's paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
But it's me physically. I have never had anything thrown at me or scratched or anything like that. But
yeah,
as physical evidence goes, you always want to jot down like, hey, door slammed open at this time, and then you watch that door and see if it happens again.
Yeah, we did. We went to Fort Knox, and all I wanted to do, like, we did all we had EVP sessions, and we went with a couple of ghost hunters. Like, we did their, I think it's the Ghost Hunt USA tour that they did.
Yep.
Did almost all overnight kind of deal, and everything was like so kind of weak. We ended with there, and then we went off in like at 1 a.m. to 4 a.m. to see if we could find anything. But it was creepy, but we never got anything. And I'm like, I wish I would just get dragged down a hall so I could have something, or like scratch across the face. That was something. But yeah, so you went to Fort Knox. Like, how was you guys' experience there?
The first time we went, it was supposed to be us and another paranormal team. Unfortunately, they had some scheduling conflicts, so we ended up investigating. It was myself, my wife, and another member of our team, and then 2 other people that were investigating with us. So there was a total of 5 of us. But like you said, we didn't really get anything. It was creepy, but we didn't physically get anything.
Mm-hmm.
But then we were asked to come back again on the off season, and it was pretty cool. It was a bunch of our team members this time, and we had the whole fort to ourselves, but it was during the winter season. And if anyone knows about Maine during the winter season, it's cold, very cold. So we ended up going up there. We got a lot more evidence this time. A few EVPs, nothing too major. Mm-hmm. But it was cool to be at Fort Knox when it's closed during the winter time. Mm-hmm. And we were told that is the last time that Fort Knox is going to be doing that on the off season.
Well, nice. You got to sneak in there before they closed it down.
Yeah. But it is a beautiful fort. Would I go back and investigate? Maybe.
Yeah.
There's a few other places that I want to go besides that, but
yeah,
it is an absolute beautiful place. The people there are awesome.
Yeah, when we were leaving, there was a couple people that were saying like, that were part of the Ghost Hunt USA, but they're also part of another like paranormal investigation troop, and they were saying like, "Oh, we got so much evidence this other time." I'm like, man, I wish we got something. I mean, I know it's hit or miss. Who knows, So, do you have any favorite places that you've been, or anything that you've gotten like the most kind of that's really like solidified? You're like, so years ago I went hunting at an old. It was an old folks' home that was like shut down. And we went with like a ghost hunter from Boston, and me and my friend just went, and we're going around. We got the is the EMF the detector, the electromagnetic field detector.
Yep.
And we're going off to the side, and we're just like, and we start, we watched enough Ghost Hunters, we start shit talking a little bit, right? And then all of a sudden, like, it's like spikes up, and we're like, all right, and we start following into this room, and like it's like all the way up, and then the Ghost Hunter comes running in, and he's like, this is what it's all about right here. Holy shit! And he's like filming it and shit, and I was just like, there could be an electric line coming through here, like, but whatever, that's cool. Are there any things that you have, any of these like bigger haunts you've done that are like, this is it, this is evidence, this is crazy? Because I know you can get some EVPs and be like, maybe it said a name or maybe it said this. Was there anything that's really like solidified? You're like, we're doing this, we got some great stuff. Is there anything like that?
Yeah, we have a bunch.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through all of them, but we have some good ones on our website. We had one where we were at the Bridgewater Triangle. My investigator asked, is anyone here with us? We didn't hear anything with our ears, but we played it back and we got Only Demons.
Oh, shit. That's pretty good.
And the creepiest voice ever. My favorite experience would have to be, I was with my wife in one of the rooms at the Murdoch, Whitney, and Isaac Morris houses. We were up in one of the children's bedrooms, and we were investigating, and we heard footsteps coming up the stairs, and it got louder and louder and louder, and then finally got to the landing, and we still heard the footsteps, so my wife told me, go open up the door. I opened up the door, there was no one there. We thought maybe it was our other investigators that were with us. Mm-hmm. Come to find out, they left an hour before to go across the street to the other house, so we were completely alone in that. But that was an awesome experience just to have with my wife. Mm-hmm. We had a growl at the USS Salem. Like, I'm probably saying about, I would say maybe 15 people on the ship, and we're all in this one room, and we heard a growl out in the hallway, and we literally heard it. Heard it, and one of the investigators said, what the F was that?
What is the USS Salem? I haven't heard of that one.
I'll tell you one more.
Please.
One of my other favorite ones was at the Isaac Morris house and Murdoch Whitney house. Also, one of the investigators were investigating Mr. Murdoch's bedroom. We went into the bathroom, and this guy had a huge tub. I'm talking about, like, very, very big, like, fat bastard kind of big.
Okay.
So I made fun of it. I was like, wow, how big do you think this guy had to be to get in this? Obviously, we didn't hear anything, but we played it back, and the EVP said, shut the fuck up.
Jesus.
So that was another fun one to have.
Yeah. And these are all on your Instagram. I went through and I saw some of your Instagram stuff. They're on your site and your Instagram?
They were on our Instagram. There's a few on our Instagram, but the bulk of the EVPs and videos are on our website. I could give you the website if you want to give it to your followers.
Please do. Promote away. I would love to get more eyes on your stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome just to have all these different tools, like the tape recorder, and like not hearing anything at the time, and then you play it back and you have a voice, which is very cool. And the technology is just improving.
Yeah. Do you guys have a FLIR thermal imager yet?
That we do.
Nice. You gotten any good stuff with that yet?
Not really. We had one little thing when we were at SK PS Mansion in Gardner, where I pointed it to one of the dolls that was in the crib, and we got a cold spot on the doll. We tried to recreate it, and we tried to look, maybe it was a heater or the AC or something, but we had no explanation for it.
Yeah, because I had my electrician came over and he had one, and I was like, man, I want to get one of these just for fun. But then he told me what they cost, and I was like, well, maybe not for fun quite yet, you know.
Yeah, the flare was hard back in the day.
Yeah.
Trying to get, I know you would have to be either a plumber or a fire department would have it. But now you can go on eBay, type in flare or thermal imager, and just thousands of them. They have them for the iPhones, they have them for the Androids, they have the handheld ones now. That's how accessible gear is now. You can go on eBay, you can go on Facebook, and just type in paranormal hunting gear and ghost hunting equipment, and it will pop up with tons of stuff.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite like piece that you feel like you get the most activity with?
Trying to think. I would say we get the most evidence with the recorders, and that will always be one of my favorites. But it's kind of hard to tell. I love all the gear that we have, but I would say if I could have anything, it would be the Ovilus. Those are very hard to find, very expensive. Which that is, it's just a device that has a dictionary in it, and just at the spirit box where these entities can use that device and use the words and say, "Son, run," and they use the words to communicate. And it looks like my wife just said the static dome. Yes, I know, it's a static dome, which is a device that my wife bought. It's a little dome, and when a spirit goes around to touch it, it will light up. So say it slowly lights all the way around it, and the spirit can use it to light it up to let us know we're there. We had some good stuff with that at Fort Knox. But I would say my all-time favorite equipment would probably be the spirit box. Those are just radios that the entity will use that device to go through all the radio stations and use to talk through it. We have got some really cool stuff on that. I had my name said on it multiple times. Spirits swearing through it.
How does that feel when it actually, like, when you have a spirit that, like, says your name? Is it like just like, does it take like the next step and just like, oh, I've got like contact? You know, if you got contact with an alien, you like think about how crazy that would be. You're like, I have contact with a being from another realm. Like, this is crazy. Like, the first time that happened to you, like, how did you feel about that?
First time I had it, my name said, I was at Fort Revere in Hull, Mass. It's an old fort that I said, "Hi, my name's Mark. I'm just here to hang out with you." I didn't hear anything with my own ears, but then when I played it back, I had my name said, Mark, and at first you're very, very shocked, like, oh my god, I just got my name said. But I've been doing it so long that now it doesn't really faze me too much.
That's old hat, you know, no big deal.
But I literally had the spirit told me, like, fuck you, Mark, and stuff like that. So
yeah.
But it's always cool to know that there's an intelligent entity there that can literally use its energy to say your name. I asked if they wanted me to leave, and it said yes.
And do you respect a spirit's wishes when you do that, or do you just kind of be like, well, let's push on, see what else we got going here, or you're just like, all right, they said we gotta go, see you later?
I always try and respect the entity or the spirits, not just out of it's out of respect. Like I said, you have to treat spirits like they were human. They just don't know they're dead, or just try and respect them, and if they want you to leave, then you leave. And if they don't want you to leave, then you sit there and talk with them and try to have a conversation with them. Pretty much a lot of spirits, all they want is someone to hear them talk. Because a lot of the spirits don't know, like, they try and interact with human life, but a lot of people are scared.
Mm-hmm. I had a medium on, I brought her up earlier, and we had tried to contact spirits from like different times because I just want to see if we can keep going back further and further. Because I had a conversation with a friend, like, how come you never hear about spirits from like the year 800, that kind of stuff? And somebody brought up that maybe there's something in the modern human that makes it harder for them to let go of the material world, and I like that, like, kind of it makes sense to me, but who really knows, right? But we went back and we tried to be like, we asked one spirit, be like, because she kept saying how she died, and we're like, do you get anything out of telling us that you how you passed away or anything like that? And she got like a little confused. She never really answered or anything like that. So when the whole point of talking to this medium was to try to see like what it's like on their side of the like spectrum, or the dimension that they're in. So she got a little confused. We didn't really get an answer of that, but I wonder if there's something with like the exchange of energy or something like that, where they say this stuff and they're like, because it feels like they always want to tell you how they died, why they died, or I wonder if it's more of we always ask, because that was a lot of the questions in chat. It was like, how'd you die, kind of deal. So yeah, I'm just kind of like thinking about it while we're chatting right here about that, because I always think that's kind of interesting. I was like, I wonder what they really get out of that, if it like brings them peace. Whatever, like, you know, what's the point, really, you know? We got chat going. So you got all the stuff. So what's your website that all this stuff is on?
Yeah, actually, let's see if I can actually send it in to...
Yeah, Heidi asked if there's any way to turn on the lights over in it, because we got like a criminal disguising their location vibe going on here.
Just make sure that...
It's not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to make anyone have the worst day of their job. I did run out of beer, and it would be nice to have another one, but Vicky's dead asleep on the couch, so I'm screwed. Yeah, I think your Instagram, hold on, I can pop it up here while you're looking for the website, so you can link it here. Your Instagram is North Para Phantom. Hold on, I don't even know what I'm doing. Finders. Yeah, the Phantom Finders of New England is Marc and company's Instagram. And then he popped up his website right there, so you can click on that. Make sure you check that stuff out. Because, like I said, I went through the Instagram. There's a lot of cool stuff in there. I scrolled through some of the pictures on the website, just check some stuff out. So, I think I was just... it's like a bigger group of people than I expected, which I think is really cool that you're able to cobble together all that many people to kind of come on board and come underneath this banner. So yeah, because I've got a group of like 5 friends that we go out. We're going Bigfoot hunting next week, and
that's on our bucket list for the summer.
Yeah, I mean, it should be fun. Like, we're only going for a couple hours, but we'll see how it goes, you know. Do you have any plans on, like, yeah, I saw some of your videos that have, like, you know, it's got some of the EVPs and stuff like that. Do you have any plans to kind of, like, do, like, a longer form investigation show or anything like that? Because I see a lot of that on YouTube, and it's a lot of work. I understand that. Even editing commercials for this thing is, like, a pain, and I'm like, I gotta work, I got other stuff to do. But do you guys, is that, like, the next step, or what are you doing? Or just kind of continue what you're doing? What are you planning on doing?
I'm hoping to get more into the YouTube and start and do videos on that. We do have a YouTube channel, but we haven't really done too much with it.
Yep.
I'm hoping now that it's getting nice out and we have a lot of great investigations coming up that we can actually plan on doing a YouTube channel. And I would love to make like a TV series or something like that, but it's just kind of like you said, trying to doing like editing and all that good jazz. It's hard with all of us having personal lives and families and stuff like that. Yeah. But maybe someday, we can take that leap into that.
So as I think we're winding down here, but like, do you have any things like, what's your next investigation that you're like super pumped to do? I know you said something about the Oliver and the Conjuring house. Is that like what's next on the horizon to kind of like go and get some stuff, or do you have anything else that you are like very excited to go and check out?
We have SK Pierce Mansion in Gardner coming up May 6th. That's always a great time. But yeah, Oliver House, the Conjuring House is going to be great. We can't wait for those. The USS Salem, going back there. This October, we are going back to another Paracon, which is always fun.
Is that in what is that in Portland, or where is that in?
It is in Maine. I can't remember the actual name of the.
I think I missed it last year.
It's at an old mill. I know that.
Oh, all right. Missed it last year. I'm going to try to go this year.
We went last year, and it was very, very fun. It was our first one ever. We did a Paracon in Salem, which was very fun. But we're trying to get more. I would say Oliver House is going to be very fun. And of course, the Conjuring House is something I always wanted to do.
Yeah, and it's not that far away. You know, Rhode Island, it's not too bad.
No.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Mark, man, thank you for joining the show. I appreciate it. I'm gonna post the audio to YouTube within like the week after I edit it up. I'll try to clean it up a little bit. Yeah, and I'll send you the link if you want to pop it out and give it a listen or anything like that. So,
absolutely,
definitely. Whenever you're going to before you go to like a thing, if you want to send something to me, and I'll post it to my followers, and I'm down to help you in any way. Get to see some cool evidence, get to see some cool stuff. So I'm down to help. So get at me.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, Mark. Thank you so much. Take care, man.
Thank you.